Hello and welcome back to another market update. My name is Rhodes and I'm a realtor here in the Phoenix market trying to provide you with some value. If you like these videos or find them informational, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and comment down below if you have anything at all to contribute to this conversation. Let's jump right into inventory. This past week, we saw a 233 unit increase week over week as inventory continues to stabilize. This is up percentage-wise from last week, but kind of describing what happened here. I gathered the data early in the day today and late in the afternoon last week. Basically, houses are going under contract through yesterday and today from the weekend negotiations, and after all those negotiations, they're being taken off the market pending or under contract today as today goes on and tomorrow. So we'll see less houses on the market this afternoon, and I'll put that down in the description of this video, just kind of showing you, we have this number right now, but we're going to have whatever number in the description at the end of the day. So I'll put that in the description. Hopefully that makes sense. So like I said, that increase is 18,980 houses today, and that is up from last week of 18,747. So we saw a 1.2% increase week over week. So those are the numbers as of this week. Long story short, the market continues to find its new equilibrium as we see interest rates start to hang around the same as inflation shows signs of peaking. Going into interest rates, I'm not a loan officer and cannot quote exact rates or anything like that, but I'm seeing rates right now, on the internet, talking to loan officers right around 6%. And possibly lower depending on the mortgage company and what they make off the loan. What happens with interest rates in regards to mortgage is the market, meaning investors and speculators and those that influence pricing, they price in these increases or rate hikes by the Fed. So this happens based off of what evidence they see in the marketplace, right? So news comes out, whatever happens, they price in different things in the market. And what happened was the Fed came out, Jerome Powell, our old pal, Jerome Powell, came out and said in a speech that they're not done fighting inflation and they're not going to stop until fighting inflation until the job is done. And so what could this mean, right? Well, the market is pricing in a 75 basis point hike once again, meaning the market thinks Jerome and his buddies are going to meet at the Fed and be like, okay, we need another 75 basis point hike in interest rates. And so the market is basically pricing in those hikes already. And that's why we're seeing interest rates go up as of 2 weeks ago to this point. So we saw interest rates kind of go up and down based on what the market's seeing. And so right now they're a little bit up, floating around the 6% mark, which is kind of one of the higher points that we've seen so far. This is because of what Jerome said in his speech, which is what I just quoted. This means that on September 13th, when the CPI comes out, which is basically the inflation rate and what we're seeing year over year based on August numbers. So August numbers will come out in September because they have to gather August numbers and put it all together. So when the CPI comes out on the 13th, the Fed will meet once again a week after, and we will see what they do with interest rates. If the rate hike is less than 75 basis points, then interest rates will likely dip again because the 75 basis point hike is already priced in the market. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments down below, but I'm trying to explain it the best that I can. Next, I want to talk about the market in general and what is going on here in the Phoenix metro area. Deals are coming on the market again, and not just the wholesalers or people who are calling you on the phone constantly. They get your phone number randomly and you're like, how did you get my phone number? They're asking, hey, do you want to sell your house? It's like, no, I don't want to sell my house. Deals are coming up to market, right? And they're coming to the MLS, which is basically the platform in which a lot of realtors post listings on. And we haven't seen this in quite some time. Houses are still taking quite a while to sell, especially if you want top dollar. It is something that if people are willing to wait for, they can still get a good price for their house. But if you're trying to sell your house quickly and you are a seller and not super informed on the market, where it's going, where it was, and kind of the indicators that we're seeing, people are panicking and lowering their price to get their home sold quick and just so that they can get done with, just get done with the process. I don't want to, go through this anymore. I just want to get my house sold. I want my money. I want to lock in these huge gains that I have had over the past few years. And this is where the deals are coming from. I just saw a house in Tempe that was 1,700, over 1,700 square feet, and renter grade. So it had like carpets, kind of those square tiles, just kind of very renter grade. It's not super updated, but it was updated probably 10, 15 years ago. The cabinets aren't original. It's got, some basic appliances in it, and, just nothing special, but clean. Had a newer roof, a newer AC. This was listed for $420,000, just like a mile and a half south of ASU, as a 3-bed, 2-bath, and a few partners and I were eyeing it to see if we were gonna get an offer in, but we didn't get it on time because we were trying to buy this place so that we could flip it. And I bet you that this place goes for around 405, 410. And in Tempe, those deals do not come by that often, really, because Tempe is such a desired area because of ASU being its main attraction and just a few miles north of there. This house, if it were to come to market a year ago, even 6 months ago, it probably would have gone for closer to $500,000, and in the first weekend. The point being, if you are in the market to buy and are thinking you want to get a good deal, I would recommend taking a look at the deals on the market right now. This is because indicators are pointing to a new market stabilization rather than any crash coming. If you can take advantage of sellers not totally understanding that, getting a good deal is here right now, and it's not going to last a super long time, especially here in the Phoenix market where supply is 25% lower than a stable supply. All that being said, give me a call or send me a text or an email or whatever. If you have any questions on the market, I'm more than happy to go over this with you. I go over the market every single week, seeing where the market's at because of these videos, and I have my fingers tightly on the pulse of the Phoenix metropolitan area specifically, because I have to know what I'm talking about with these videos. So if you have any questions on indicators or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to buy a coffee or dinner and really talk about this with you. Now let's go ahead and jump into the Crawford Report. I know a few agents here in the Valley specifically have a market update that includes or is based on entirely on the Crawford Report and CMI. I like to include it because it is very relevant information, but that's why I like to include the overall causes and effects of the Phoenix market, specifically here in the Phoenix metropolitan area, to give you the best info I can. Basically, like I said, just having my fingers on the pulse of the Phoenix market to relay what I'm seeing to people that are watching these videos. Now let's get into the CMI. The CMI this week is a very interesting one. Another sign of stabilization coming soon and coming right now. The buyers are coming back to market. This week we have the CMI come in at 105.3. We have 75.7 for the supply and 79.7 for demand. And just so you know, these numbers are based off of statistics here in the Valley. So percentage-wise and based on buyers and sellers. So 105.9 meaning there's 1.059 buyers for every listing out there. So kind of a neutral market. And we can see that because a neutral market is anything above a 95 and below a 110. So we're in a neutral market here, 105.9. As for the supply and demand, this is percentage-wise of where we should be at versus 100. So 79.7 for demand. That means we are 20.3% less than stable market for demand. But we are at 24.3% less than a stable supply for the market. So that means we don't have enough supply for the demand still. And that's why we're at a neutral market, even though we've seen interest rates come up so high and the housing affordability go down so drastically. But the interesting thing is I want to compare these numbers to last week's numbers. So let's compare these numbers now, right? So 105.9 was the CMI last week. This week it's 105.3. So it's still coming down just a little bit, but it's again stabilizing. And as for the supply, we saw 74.8 for supply last week, 75.7 this week. So supply has gone up a little bit. But what is that? Take a look at demand. That's right, 79.2 for demand last week, 79.7 this week. So we're seeing demand go up. Buyers are coming back to market and they are ready. Hey, I'm here. I realize that the market is not crashing. I want to get in the market. Let's go ahead, take a look at the market. Let's get something under contract. We haven't seen that for a while, since like April or something. Buyers will likely start to come back as they realize deals are out there and the market is not crashing like many news headlines are suggesting. Take a look at the top 17 cities and look at that, a green arrow, meaning the CMI for that city is up month over month. Absolutely crazy, and you love to see it. And as we see the CMI just over week, we're seeing improvements in Scottsdale of 1%, Chandler of 2%, and Tempe of 0.1%. So again, stabilization is happening specifically in those markets here in the East Valley. We're still seeing declining CMIs in those outskirts cities, but here in the valley, the heart of the valley, we are seeing stabilization and even rises in CMI. With my own clients, we're still seeing a bit of a lull in looking at houses because of uncertainty, and it's still it's present still here in the market, but I'm having more inquiries in what the market is doing and what the future looks like. Obviously, this is heavily based on interest rates and affordability of housing, which is heavily based and influenced by the Fed, which is heavily influenced by inflation. So we will have to see and get more info on the CPI as it comes out on the 13th and basically see what the Fed's response to this. Overall, the market is showing signs once again of stabilization coming. And I have been talking about this stabilization and the leveling out over the past few weeks. In conclusion, deals in the market are here. I just don't know how long they are going to be here and how long they will last as demand starts to rise again and buyers enter back into this real estate market. Thank you so much for watching this week's market update. If you like this video, if you find it informational, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and let me know what you think personally about this market in the comment section down below. My name is Rhodes with Team CR Realty, where Arizona real estate is seen.